does this trip help either side in terms of getting a resolution to this conflict? Trump has certainly talked up the prospects of it. He's talked about the ultimate deal ready for him to make, unlike his predecessors. He's tweeted about there being no reason, none whatsoever, that there isn't peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians. But there are key issues, the key realities here which will confront him, just as they have his predecessors. And among the chief issues to resolve is that of illegal Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank, and whether this Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, wants to or even can, given the right-wing nature of many of his coalition partners, guarantee such a freeze on settlement construction as part of any confidence building towards an eventual resolution.
If Donald Trump really is, as he says, the US president to make the ultimate deal, much of it will come down to something he knows about: land and construction. A short drive from Bethlehem, where Trump is due to meet Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas on Tuesday, the illegal Israeli settlement of Efrat is getting bigger. It's part of a one-third increase last year in starts to new construction projects in the occupied West Bank. Contractors are hoping for a settlement-friendly Trump presidency.
Construction is what matters for us. The more, the better.
Since the beginning of this year, Israeli authorities have agreed final tenders for or approved the construction of 5,800 new settler units, perhaps in expectation of US cover or as a test of how much support they'll have under Donald Trump. That's a question that Palestinians and Israelis alike are keen to find an answer to.
After signaling a more relaxed US policy on settlements before he took office, in February, during their meeting in Washington, Trump surprised some by asking the Israeli Prime Minister to rein in construction.
I'd like to see you hold back on settlements for a little bit.
Can President Trump put Netanyahu in a situation in which he is going to freeze settlements or not? I think this is the real test. If President Trump can deliver Netanyahu on the issue of settlements, I think we will have a good way out. If not, then I think the whole process is going to be doomed of failure.
The signals have been mixed. Trump appointed a settlement advocate and fundraiser, David Friedman, as his ambassador to Israel. But the president's likely to delay moving the US embassy to Jerusalem for fear of torpedoing any chance of building trust with the Palestinians. He is expected to challenge President Abbas on Palestinian Authority payments to prisoners and their families, something the US calls incitement to violence. For one veteran Israeli negotiator and government minister, the lack of a precise plan emanating from the White House could actually be a good thing.
This will not hamper or become an impediment in the negotiations. And you know what? I would, in a way, say the other way around, since he's totally uninterested in details. So you feel freer.
The question is whether Trump's freewheeling, even improvised approach, the cause of so much chaos and scandal in Washington, could somehow build momentum towards the deal none of his predecessors was able to make.
Harry, they're just running through the rehearsals there for the Air Force One 747 touching down at Ben Gurion. I mean, the Palestinians, we know, they want international involvement, but would that international involvement, as far as the Israelis are concerned, be seen as an imposition more than anything else?
Well, that's long been the problem of an Arab-led regional peace deal. However, there are some indications that perhaps Israel might be more amenable to that at the moment, that there is a developing relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel. Reports of some kind of impending deal about overflights and other economic links a few days ago weren't denied by either side as they have been in the past. So perhaps there isn't quite such an issue on that front, although, of course, Israel still has its issues with the UN. Indeed, I was just speaking to the former Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Ron Prosser, a few minutes ago, and he was saying, he was, from an Israeli perspective, welcoming what Trump had said yesterday in regards to Hamas being grouped in with ISIS, with Al-Qaeda, with Hezbollah as terror groups that should be driven from the Middle East. I was putting it to him that for a US president who wants to reach some kind of deal, does Hamas not to be, on a pragmatic level, should not Hamas be involved in that? He was saying that you don't make peace with people who are your sworn enemies and want to drive you into the sea. You make peace with